As Congress begins their 10-day recess, automatic spending cuts known as sequestration are hovering like a dark cloud. Newly elected San Diego Congressman Scott Peters held a news conference this morning to talk about the possible effect spending cuts would have on our port. Congressman Peters represents San Diego's 52nd district, and he joins us. Nice to see you, sir. Welcome back home.
Thanks for having me, Dwayne.
So you served on San Diego City Council. You were a port commissioner. Now you've spent 6 weeks in Washington.
Right.
Is it what you expected?
Well, it's hard to know quite what to expect. I'll give you a couple impressions. One is it's much more political than San Diego was. And I think in San Diego we pride ourselves on being nonpartisan and collaborating. And even President Clinton has recognized that San Diego is a center of collaborative cooperation. We don't see that in Congress just yet. But I'll say the other ray of hope that I've found is that a lot of the freshmen, and there's a lot of us, 85 of us, a quarter of all the Democrats, 49 Democrats, are new, got the same message in November, which was people wanted us to stop fighting for the sake of fighting and start fixing. So I hope that we can hold on to that and push that whole attitude through Congress.
Now, speaking of bipartisanship and trying to come together, sequestration is a big issue. We're talking deadline March 1st.
Right.
Do you support the plan to avoid spending cuts?
I think that this is the wrong way to go about spending cuts. If you look at any of the bipartisan kind of approaches, that whether it's Simpson-Bowles or the Domenici-Rivlin kind of approach, people have looked at the budget and figured out how to get a hold of it. They like us to do this over time and take painful measures, no doubt about it. But the idea of this sequestration, I think we're saying it's more like an amputation. And here we are climbing out of this recovery. We would make these incredibly broad cuts right now to a great extent that could really throw us back into a recession. That's not good for San Diego. It's certainly not good for the country.
Yeah, when I think of the word sequestration, it seems to kind of mask what we're really talking about, right?
Right.
The Senate plan, what don't you like? What do you like?
Well, this, we have the Mr. Ryan's budget from the last couple of years in the House, and now we have the Senate plan, which is more of a Democratic version. I think it's a productive part of the conversation. I don't think the Republicans are going to agree to that, but let's talk about where we can marry the two and bring a deal. I think that there's so many reasons to want to get this behind us, even if the deal isn't perfect from anyone's perspective. No one's going to get everything they want. It would create a lot of certainty and enable us to really plan for the investments we need to make this country competitive in the next century.
Let's go beyond the debate at this point. What would the sequester mean for San Diego's infrastructure projects and the port for that matter?
Well, remember, San Diego's economy depends on three main sectors to bring money in. One is tourism, one is the military, one is scientific research and innovation. But also trade is really important to us. And so what I was talking about today was we want to connect our port to the national system of highway and rail as a way to create more jobs and have San Diego play a part in the movement of goods throughout the country. We're not in a position to do that without federal investment. There's other infrastructure investments like keeping the bridges from falling down and keeping our roads in repair. Those things we need to do to keep ourselves competitive, to be able to be competitive in the next century and create jobs and move the country ahead. The other San Diego effects we'll be talking about this week are in scientific research, where we face a loss of funding for the National Institutes of Health. Those discoveries at the Salk Institute, Sanford Burnham, Scripps Research Institute, UCSD, those institutes up on the Mesa have not just changed the world and created better health care, but they've created a lot of jobs here. And then finally, the military is responsible for 25% of all the jobs in the county. At the end of last year, we thought sequestration threatened about 30,000 jobs just in that sector alone, in addition to threatening the national security. So all in all, this is not a way to go about making policy. Let's sit down and have a more thoughtful approach.
You know, there hasn't been a lot of detail on what the $27 billion as it relates to defense cuts will include, right? And of course, San Diego being the military town it is. What do you think the Senate's plan would mean for San Diego's defense industry?
The sequestration. I'm on the Armed Services Committee, and I know that there's a lot of alarm among Republicans and Democrats, not just about what we would do to the spending and the contracting, but really what the effect is on our national security. And Secretary Panetta has made a big point of this, is that at some point you're really affecting our ability to defend ourselves and to deploy our troops where they're needed to protect our interests. So I'm concerned about that. But we know locally that already we're talking about whether we have to to cancel construction contracts, lay off civilians, and a lot of folks whose jobs depend on those things, that they would like to have more certainty. And the idea that we would do this in this process that just sort of slashes at some level without thinking about what the priorities are, what the strategic effect is, it's just not good enough. We deserve better, and I think we ought to be home working this week, not on recess.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask you. So you guys are on a 10-day recess. Some would wonder, why aren't you back at work?
I would wonder that.
Yeah, trying to get the deal done, right?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. We've got 2 weeks till the sequester, and we have this scheduled district work week. I'll work all week. I'm going to take some tours of some Navy facilities that I haven't seen yet. That's going to be useful for me in my job. And we'll be talking to constituents, but we're talking about the sequester all week. We're going to be highlighting the effect of that so that we can create some urgency. Because really this week, as nice as it is to be in San Diego getting my vitamin D, we ought to be in D.C. Working on this problem. This is really something that the country needs to move away from.
Okay, final question, last response quickly, please. So next week, Congress heads back to Washington.
Yep.
You have another less than a week, actually.
Yep.
Because if something isn't done by March 1st, the cuts happen.
Right.
What's your prediction?
Well, you're as good at predicting anything as I am. I will tell you that there are a lot of people who would like to see a resolution. I'd like to see the president be more active, because I think now that there's a Democratic version or Republican version, he can really have an effect in bringing us together, and I hope he'll do that.
Thanks, Congressman Scott Peters.
Thank you, Dwayne.